Hello, my name is James, and this is my wife, Kasey. We were married in 2004, and we're young and naive and thought we understood what life was. We found that through marriage and through life that we really did desire to have kids. We talked about how many kids, we talked about what that would look like.
Around 2 years into trying to have kids, it wasn't happening. So we ended up going to the doctor about 3 years into starting to have a family, or trying to have a family. At that point, they thought maybe they knew what was wrong, and so basically they gave me a pill that I would have to take for about 6 months, and it didn't happen, and I was referred to a specialist. We just prayed, Lord, close this door if this is not what you'd have for us. And once we went to the specialist, they had a procedure that we could do. So we went ahead and did the procedure. I had to drive up to North Atlanta every other day. When we went to check to see if it had worked, I got up there and they said it didn't work. And so then we decided to do it again. At the end of it all, they said it didn't work again. So we decided to try it one more time. And so we did it, and we went every other day again. And at the end of that one, they said, it didn't work, we need to talk. So we went into the doctor's office. He said that there was no reason that we couldn't get pregnant naturally.
When they told us, hey, there is no reason you shouldn't get pregnant, that kind of like, well, we just spent all this time and money for what then? We were a little confused, to be honest with you. We wanted God to shut the door, but we're like, okay, now what? What are we supposed to do? Just sit here and wait?
That was one of the longest waits of my life. It was 7 years. We had a lot of friends who were having babies.
Seemed like everybody.
Everybody seemed to be having babies, and so that was a struggle watching that happen and not understanding why not us. I had a difficult time going to baby showers, and I didn't go down to the nursery at the church. That was very difficult for me. I only went down once. Also, probably on Mother's Day was the most difficult days. I felt like the Lord had given me a desire to be a mom, and He had expressed desires to be a dad, and that hadn't gone away, and so we couldn't understand why not. That's when we had to rely on the Lord the most, because it was a long time of nothing. We knew that He had a plan for us, but it was all in His timing, and it was very difficult, but it was also reassuring to know that He knew the heartaches that we were feeling. I had been starting to think about adoption because 2 of my friends had adopted babies. We ended up going to Chick-fil-A one day, and we sat down, and just out of the blue, James said, I think we should adopt. So we ended up talking about more of what that would look like. The excitement and just the love that was outpoured from Henry and from our friends and from our family was just enormous. So then we went ahead and signed on with an agency and started the adoption process, and we were on the list within just a couple of weeks. And then
they told us the average wait time to adopt was 2.5 years. 2.5 more years. Okay, God, here we go.
3 years later, I had this number come across my phone that I didn't recognize. It was my caseworker, and she said, we have a baby that is about to be born. We have chosen you to be the parents of this baby. I just sat on the couch and couldn't even believe what I was hearing. So it was a very exciting time. I knew that it was very serious, that it was most likely going to happen. So we started calling all of our family and our friends, telling them that we're having a baby. We're just waiting every day. When's the baby going to be born? When's the baby going to be born?
Saturday came, Sunday came, Monday came.
And at noon, I got a text, and it said, baby is born. We drove up to the hospital, and we got to hold our baby for the first time, and it was a baby girl. So we got to bring her home, and we did name her Hannah Grace.
It was a really cool thing to understand what the name Hannah meant. One of the definitions is grace. Grace, God's grace.
One day, we had been on the adoption waiting list almost 3 years. I sat down and the tears just flowed down. The weight of everything just overwhelmed me. I just remember just crying out to God, just saying, Lord, just take this from me. Please take this desire to be a mom. I just can't do this anymore. It was 3 months to the day of that, Hannah was placed in my arms.
And at this point, our little Hannah Grace is 3 years old. Just teaching her what it means to be Christ-like, to walk with God, and to show her that she can trust God no matter what is what we long to do and what we enjoy doing.
I'm so thankful for the way that the Lord laid things out, because if it wasn't through those circumstances, we would not have our Hannah Grace, and she was meant to be a part of our family. And I just encourage you to remain steadfast, know that it's in His timing.